Hi there, happy fall everyone. Sandy Freschi here, back with another video. Today's topic is about perfectionism. Is perfectionism getting in the way of your human design experiment? Is it ruining your human design experiment? Are you so caught up in the rights and wrongs and the am I getting it right experience of learning about your chart and trying to live from your chart that you're missing the whole point of your experiment? Well, let's talk about that and how you can best understand perfectionism as it's understood through the human design system, the system of human design, and the gate 18, and also how you can free yourself from either your conditioning of perfectionism and or your own consistent relationship with potential perfectionism in your life. Now, I don't need to tell you, if you're a perfectionist, that you may be a perfectionist. You probably already know it, and you've probably already seen it play out in various aspects of your life, whether you're in school or you're a perfectionist with your family and your children, or you're a perfectionist with your work and your job. If you're a perfectionist, you already know it. Now, what the Gate 18 tells us or shows us about perfectionism in the human condition is that if you are using that energy correctly, or if you are experiencing that energy in the way that it is meant to be experienced, it is about perfecting and correcting that which is necessary for the survival of the collective. The Gate 18 is part of the collective circuitry. But when it's turned inward, when you're experiencing it personally, or when you're turning it inward and using it in a sense against yourself, you can experience it as that unrelenting perfectionism. It is the electromagnetic to the gate 58, which is essentially the gate of joy, or if it's experienced in its shadow or lower aspect, it can be experienced as dissatisfaction. So you may find that you have a pattern, either that you were conditioned with, or if you have gate 18 in your chart with or without the gate 58, there may be certain times when you are particularly dissatisfied. That dissatisfaction of the 58 and the drive for correction is meant for things outside of yourself. Perfecting and correcting, recognizing what needs to be perfected and corrected within society so that we can all survive, thrive, potentially have more joy in our lives, in our communities. What logical steps need to be taken, because it's part of the logic of the human design chart. What logical steps need to be taken so that society and the collective can truly thrive and survive. Turning it inward, however, creates this stress of I've got to do it right. And if you're familiar with the fears of the spleen gates, and I have a video on that somewhere, I'll try to link it below or put it somewhere where you can see it. If you're familiar with those fears, you know that the gate 18 can be experienced as the fear of authority, or as the fear or the defiance of authority, the challenging of authority. And if you think about that in the collective sense, yes, if you're dissatisfied with something that's going on in the world at large, in your community, You see things that just don't make logical sense and that need to be corrected, you may want to be compelled to challenge authority. Or if you have been conditioned in a way to not challenge authority, you may be afraid to speak up because of what may happen if you challenge authority. Now take that inward, like in the way that where you make it personal, um, in the aspect of, or from the perspective that of it hindering you from truly enjoying your life, from truly enjoying your human design experiment. And it can look like the self-talk, the negative self-talk of, I'm not getting this right, I have to do this correctly, or I'm going to mess up. I have to fix something in my life because I am dissatisfied. I have to fix something within me because someone is dissatisfied with me, someone of authority, whether it's your boss, whether it's your domineering mother, your authoritarian father from the past. Those experiences can create this dynamic where you're turning those expectations, that energy of perfection and correction in on yourself. And what does that lead to? It leads to shame. It leads to non-acceptance in the very on the very surface level. It leads to this place of being hypercritical about yourself, and that it can be driven by the shame that maybe you've buried from being a toddler and having created a mess, for instance, and someone in a position of authority was not satisfied with that, was disappointed in you, and that aspect of your subconscious is maybe still holding on to that. So you can see how perfectionism can really get in the way of you just relaxing and seeing life for what it is, recognizing what you have to offer, recognizing who you are. And that's what the human design experiment is for you to have at your access the tools to inform you about who you are, how you operate, what your options are for living from your chart. And from my perspective, you're always living from your chart, whether you're living from your chart in a way that brings out the authentic best in you, or whether you're living in a way that brings out, all of these other maybe subconscious things, woundings, conditioning, negative conditioning that keeps you from that keeps you living in the white spaces, the not self part of your chart. So if you're living with perfectionism, if you're turning perfectionism onto yourself, you're going to, when you fall short, or look back and see where you have not lived according to your strategy and authority, when you are really rooting around in that, it's going to bring up some shame. It's going to bring up some unneeded pressure and negative self-judgment that keeps you from truly relaxing into the experience of what is it like to be me? What is this information about my chart telling me that I can begin to put into practice in a way that is affirming rather than detracting from my experience right now. So if you are living in that place of perfectionism, that place of self-judgment, the place of maybe having looked back at, now that you know what your strategy and authority is and what your not self theme is and all of those nuggets, those basic nuggets in your human design chart, and you're feeling bad about yourself, you're feeling like you're not getting it right, maybe you feel like you're in the wrong job because you didn't have all the information about how to enter into or recognize what was a better fit for you in up until now. Take a deep breath and let all of that go, because you are in the perfect place for the choices that you have made so far. And you can make different choices. You can align in a different way to who you now see that you can be. And the human design experiment is called an experiment for a reason, because the world isn't perfect. You're not perfect. Life experiences are never perfect. And that's actually the gift of the gate 18, is recognizing that our perfection as humans is in our imperfection. And there's always going to be room for better alignment, more integrity, which is an integral part of what the gate 18 teaches us, that society can be in harmony, there's potential for harmony, there's potential for inner harmony, that we can harmonize and be in integrity with ourselves, moment to moment to moment, moving forward step by step. So don't let your journey, your dance with perfectionism become one of the not self mind games that keeps you in a place where you truly cannot experiment with your design. So here's how I recommend that you approach your human design experiment so that you're not trapped by perfectionism. Take it one step at a time. Take in a little bit at a time. Follow the logical step-by-step movements forward of exploration. Find one thing, and I suggest you start with strategy and authority. Try that on. Get a good understanding of what it means to be your energy type. And then allow yourself to see how that plays out in your life. If you tweak one thing, how does that affect your relationship with the world around you? How does that affect the steps that you take as you move forward in your life in concert with other people? And along with that, because if you've got that perfectionism stream going, right, that's not necessarily going to be reversed overnight. You've probably had layers and layers of patterns and conditioning around that. But the beauty of the human design experiment is that it helps you to become more aware of what your mind is doing while your body is working on realigning itself to a deeper level of you trusting yourself, of you being more vibrant and healthy, of you being more at ease in your physicality, your physical world, your literal body. And as part of your experiment with, along with taking these little steps, these little pieces of your chart and just sitting back and seeing how it plays out, pay attention to, or see if you can catch when you're getting into those places of the perfectionistic negative self-talk. And I'd like to know what you tell yourself when you're in those places of perfection and non acceptance. Put that in the comments below. And it may be fuel for some more videos moving forward on perfectionism, working with your perfectionistic tendencies as you experiment with your design. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, like it. If you know someone who can benefit, please share it. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. This will help you to stay up to date with what's going on in my human design world and perhaps some of the things that I'll be offering in the future. So until the next time, be well.